You're watching the West Coast Logging Channel. Come on inside and get some logs, that is.
Morning, how we all doing? It's getting chillier. And Scott, or Chuck Driver, told me I can't talk about the S word anymore. Snow. Trust me, I will not ever say I'd rather have rain over snow, Chuck. Trust me. But there must be some nasty bug going around, because Johnny was gone Wednesday, and I was messing with him about having the 24-hour last day of hunting season, or last week of hunting season flu. And then Conlin's gone today with the same symptoms, 24-hour hunting flu. That I just talked to Brian on the big radio, and I guess he's having the same issue. So there must be some kind of a nasty bug going around. We finally got off of that ridge, and we're coming around the backside. I got a really good video. I hope you guys liked it. We got left. Holy smokes, we got left. And I'm not even picking it. Oh, probably a third of the way up. There's no sense of having it up that high if we don't have to. A little bit more will help us. There we go. I think I might try putting the camera on the carriage today. We got enough left. I don't have to worry about it getting smacked by tree limbs or anything like that. And little whips they leave standing. Dang it. That was too soon. I'll be right back. Anyways, I think I'm going to try putting the camera on the carriage today. See how it goes. I'm back there quite a ways too. It's pretty long skidding for this little machine. Pretty scattered. They're making big jumps too, big jumps. It right here, going around the back, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of wood, but went over the hill here yesterday. I walked down in there about halfway or so. My fat rear end needs to get a little more exercise. But anyways, I went down in there just kind of get an idea of what's going on and whatnot. And it's pretty thick. Tyson was saying that, I got terrible cold. I guess this road goes about a mile out here farther, so there's a lot of wood to get yet. They said the wood gets a lot thicker, better stand of timber down the road there too. Hopefully they bring a cat or skidder or something in here, straighten this road out. It's pretty rough. wanted to say that, and I've said it before, I get a lot of really, really good response out of story time. And, you know, I just wanted to say that, you know, I've spent 20 plus years logging. And, you know, no matter what industry you're in, you spend that many years, you're going to have stories. You're going to see things, good things, bad things, funny things. You're going to see stupid things happen. You know, you're going to see people that have the best intention, really hoping that this is going to work, you know, and it not. It just, you know, I'm putting it out there, you know, and I'm sure that a lot of you people watch it, and some of you are loggers, a lot of you are not. You know, in your industry or you know what it is, whatever it is that you do, I'm sure you guys have got stories too. And I'm glad that you guys like it. I really like doing the story time because it does bring back good memories. Anyway, so yeah, as long as you know you guys, I continue to get the response out of it that I do, you know, I'll continue to tell them, oh come on, you really, really need to go up. There we go. Like it, and like I've said, you know, along with story time and pretty much everything about this channel is just, you know, I want to bring a little more education about logging, cable logging, you know, not saying that, you know, I'm a super logger and I'm going to teach everybody out there what there is to do about logging. I just want to educate people about, you know, what really goes on out here in this logging world. So, with that being said, I guess we probably really should do another story time. Look at that. Look at that. That's what I get to look at for about 4 hours till it's clear over here. This lines the crap out of me. There we go. Not nothing. A little black tape and some blue towels won't fix the old blindness. So I read this post on Facebook a couple of days ago, which leads us to today's story time. And the gentleman asked about logging workplace etiquette, and I'm sure it goes for any industry, you know, to be honest, but you know, there are certain unwritten laws about workplace etiquette, you know, and one of them would be, you know, for logging, bring your own water and don't mess with another guy's lunch. That's a big no-no. Some people will get really angry, and I don't blame them. I don't, you know, I might, I mean, I've done stuff to guys' lunch pails, but I wouldn't actually mess with their lunch, which, you know, is what I anyway, so story time about workplace etiquette. My yarder engineer went in and had a hernia surgery done. So I was running this Okay, I'll pull back on it a little bit. Anyways, so I was running this 501 Kohler, you know, it was the stand outside type. We had a little plastic, the blue plastic tarp around it for the winter and whatnot. Well, we'd put new skid line on, 9/16 skid line. We had the old piece there, and it was pretty shot, but it still wasn't too bad a line. Anyway, so the core was in really good shape, and what I mean by the core is you have one piece. Oh shoot! I threw it away. I had one in here. Anyways, you have one in the center, and then you have 6 strands that wrap around it. So the core, you know, you can make little straps for hanging stuff. Anyway, so I cut about 70 feet of this core out because you can never have enough line laying around. Well, this kid calls up for his lunch pail. So, and this kid, he didn't like me at all. He thought I was too hard on him and whatnot. So I grab his lunch, and it's like really light, and I open it up, and there's like 3 York peppermint patties, a couple of Hershey Kisses, and a cold can of soup. And I'm like, really? So I take everything out of his lunch pail except for 1 Hershey's Kiss, and I put it in there, and I send it back on the Reagan. A couple of seconds later, he's like, ah, that's funny. Well, next turn comes in, his lunch pail's on there. He's like, will you put the rest of my lunch in there and send it out, please? So I put 1 New York peppermint patty in there and shipped it out. Well, we did this a couple of times, and he's starting to get mad. So he sends his the pail back in, and he's like, I want my lunch, and I want in my lunch pail, and I want it now, or I'm coming up there. Well, so I ship it out without his lunch pail. And while I'm doing that, I take this core through the spool that we took the new line off of, and I splice an eye real quick so that it's connected to the core, and then I make it so that it's shorter, and I splice another eye around the handle of his lunch pail, and so it's about this far away from this spool. So the only way he can get his lunch is if he carries his spool around with him. And so that takes me a turn or two to do it. It was kind of ways out there, and it's pretty slow yarder. And he's, I want my lunch, I want my lunch. So, and then he gets really mad, and he's like, if my fucking lunch don't come back this time, I'm coming up there to get it. So I don't ship it back. Well, I can see him down in there, we're thinning. Ship the Reagan back, he starts up the hill, and I land the turn, I send it back, and he's still coming. Just happened to work out perfect. I actually was wanting him to come all the way out and grab his lunch and have to carry it down there with him. Works out perfect. I bring the rigging up, I slack it down, I unbell the chokers, and he's like 15 feet off the edge of the landing. So I grab his lunch pail and hang it on the hook with this spool and pick it up and ship it back. Oh my God, he's mad. Well, he didn't realize that I'd spliced this spool to his lunch pail. Ship it back, and the other guy down there, he just takes it off, throws it right underneath the lines and ships the turn, goes over the spool, over his lunch pail and everything. So I watch him go back down there, and he stops, and I can see that they're talking, and by this point he must have figured out that I'd done this, and he goes over and he picks his lunch pail up, and he's yanking on it, trying to break the core. And I'm like, oh my God, all you're doing is just destroying your lunch pail. Picks the line and the spool and the lunch pail, and he throws it down, he's pulling, yanking, yanking. Finally he packs it over. Well, they'd built a little fire, so he puts his can of soup by the fire and he sets it up. He's like, ha ha, I got you, now I got somewhere to set. So he sets it up on this spool right by the fire so it'll get warm. And so he leaves it there a couple of turns to warm up. About the time he's ready to go get his warm soup, we have a hang up coming up. and it happened to be off of his side of the line, so he has to come up the hill. Well, he ends up fighting it for like 15 minutes probably. By the time we get to turn in and I ship it back, the spool has caught on fire. And his can of soup exploded. Oh my God, he was so mad. He's down there just myself, if somebody would have done that to me, I probably would have just quit by this point. So he yells up there, "You gotta send me some lunch because you screwed me." And I'm like, I don't pack a lunch. I got a 6-pack of Mountain Dew, and I ain't giving you none of my Mountain Dew. I guarantee you that. So about, hour before quitting time, here he comes up the hill. And he's just glaring at me. Well, the owner of the company drove log truck for himself, too. He was getting loaded, so he goes right past me and goes right up to the truck and starts talking to the owner. Well, the owner wasn't a big fan of him either. He only kept him around because he showed up 4.5 days a week, 3 weeks out of the month. So I see him get into a little bit of an argument, and the guy walks off up the road, and he gets to the crummy and slams the door. The boss comes back, and he's like, "What the hell did you do to him?" So I tell him, and he's like, "Oh my God." He goes, "You can't be doing that stuff to Alex. You just can't be doing that kind of stuff to people." I'm like, "Okay, I'll apologize." He's like, no, don't apologize, because he's quitting. Now we can finally find somebody else. But just don't do it to anybody else. So I guess really, you know, the workplace ethic, there is some unwritten laws in any workplace about what, you know, don't mess with the guy's toolbox, don't mess with his lunch or whatever. So really, this, you know, the moral to the story is, don't stick your pecker in a toaster, because it's probably going to get burnt. Stay safe, get logs, friends. Oh my goodness. That, whatever them guys got, I must be getting it, because I don't feel very good at all. Oh boy. I ain't liking this a bit. Oh, not going to have any time to put the camera out on a tripod or anything. We're going to be in this spot for a while, so we'll get plenty of time to. I really want to get the camera over there and the new camera and zoom in. It should be really good video. So I guess you just get me today. And I'm not feeling all that great. So Brian asked me the other day if I wanted a pair of cork boots for when I had to unbelt chokers. I said no, because for me, when I think cork boots, you know, I'm thinking of a pair of leather boots. Now I'm starting to think that maybe instead of them, you know, high top cork shoes like those guys wear, might be a good idea. Might have to look into it, see what they cost. Might be, they probably. Especially, you know, like this morning, everything was still froze up and the logs were pretty slick. It's getting better now, but winter is coming. And that naughty word that Chuck Driver doesn't want me to say anymore is going to happen sometime. I wish they'd hurry up and do something with both of my knees. I know that could be done. Getting those chokers unbelted could be a lot faster. guess I wore them there when I was tending hook for Rose, and they weren't too bad. I don't think I'd want to wear them all the time. You know, if I was going to be out there all the time, I'd definitely have leather cords, that's for sure. Oh, he's got good lift too. Gosh. But we're going to have good lift all the way along here, so like I say, it should be some really good video opportunity for us. I need to get the drone out. This would be a really, really good spot to bring the drone too. Plus Brian, or Scott, he's taking video over there where they're at on the cat side. I'd really, really, really like to give the camera to Brian. Brian said he'd take video, but I'd like him to do like a self-interview like Scott did, because that turned out really good. Uh-oh. That doesn't sound good. I think my deck just fell. Let's just hope it didn't go very far. Damn it. God dang it. Shoot. Doesn't sound like it went very far. It's not that steep there. Hopefully they're bringing Scott's machine up here. If they are, he's got a longer bow. Won't be no big deal. second, you know, and now I'm bringing them in like this, landing them, and then I'm grabbing the tops with the bucket and flipping the tops over, and that's what happened. A couple of them just rolled